Hello everyone. We're going to jump right into our week 21 memory work. So starting off with geography, this week we were learning about Native American regions. There are 7 of them. And first thing that I had the kids do, first thing I had each of the kids do was take their maps and we traced out all of these different areas. So these 2 different colors are the northern part and the southern part of the Eastern Woodland Territory. And that, it kind of follows the Mississippi River, but then it juts out around Louisiana. And then we outlined the area of the Plains Territory, this whole light green section. Over here is the Plateau Territory. It dips down into Central Oregon and back up, and we established that that's where we currently are. Then over here on the very most western part of western Washington, Oregon, we have the Northwest Coast region, and then California region. You can find this in your book to go back over. Then there is the Great Basin, which is this whole yellow part right here, and it dips down. There's an overlap here with some of these deserts, but it kind of dips down here over to the, southeastern part of California and jumps back up. And then this whole lighter green section coming down and along the southwest into the bottom, the south of Texas, that is the Southwest region. So to reiterate, those are Eastern Woodlands, Plains, Plateau, Northwest Coast, California, Great Basin, and Southwest. For math, we're going into some of the laws. This week is the associative law for both addition and multiplication. We used a song that I've enjoyed using with my kids the last couple of years. I'll send you guys a link to it, which will be easier to follow probably than my voice, but it goes, the associative law for addition goes something like this. Opening parenthesis, A plus B, closing parenthesis, plus C equals A plus opening parenthesis, B plus C closing parenthesis. The associative law for multiplication goes something like this. Opening parenthesis, A times B, closing parenthesis times C equals A times opening parenthesis, B times C closing parenthesis. And you have the option of, if this is fun for you guys to do, you can do signs along with it where you show an opening parenthesis and a closed parenthesis and A plus B and plus C, or times A, or A times B times C. All right, so next is Latin. We're doing the second part of John 1:6, which is Cui nomen erat Johannes, which means whose name was John. And going to the tune, it's Cui nomen erat Johannes, whose name was John. The kids all pointed out those are different tunes. And I just think it's because the Latin version has a lot more syllables. So you kind of have to change it up. Science. What does the theory of evolution rely on? And we did talk about this a bit in class, that the theory of evolution is coming from an assumption that there is no God, and there is no creator, and that the Bible's version of creation doesn't exist. We know the truth. But this definition here, it kind of touches on the improbability, or the small probability of this chance combination. So the question is, what does the theory of evolution rely on? And we put a few signs to it. So it goes, the theory of evolution, and we did this sign showing origin, which was from the timeline. The theory of evolution relies on the belief, so just kind of going to your forehead, belief that life began as a chance combination of non-living things. Okay, English. We have a subordinate clause. This one we just did the definition. We repeated the definition together, and each kid chose a funny voice that they wanted to do, which made it pretty fun. So, what is a subordinate clause? A subordinate clause, also known as a dependent clause, does not express a complete thought and cannot stand alone. Do you want to get down? No. Okay. Next is the timeline. So with the timeline, the signs, which you can find on CC Connected, if you go to the Learning Center and then over to Foundations, down to week 21, you can find a whole explanation of how to do the signs, but I can do it for you. Hello. So we have World War II and President Franklin D. Roosevelt. So we do FDR. Stalin of the USSR and the Katyn massacre. Hello. So for Stalin, we're going to show his big bushy mustache. Stalin of the USSR, and then the Katyn, we hold one hand like this and go under, in the Katyn massacre. The United Nations formed, and then the Cold War. Then Gandhi, so G for Gandhi, and India's independence. Then we go on, we kind of tug on our chin hairs to show Jewish, because just to signify the beards that they have. So we do Jewish state established. And then M for Mao. Mao and communist victory in China. All right, history. Tell me about U.S. astronauts. This one, if you can do it to the actual tune that they have on the recording, it's so fun. So, in 1969, U.S. astronauts Neil Armstrong and Edwin Aldrin were the first men to walk on the moon. So, we show 6 and then 9. 6 and 9. So we go, and then we go around like the moon. So we go in 1969. In 1969, U.S. astronauts. This is like a rocket. Then N for Neil Armstrong and Edwin Aldrin, were the first men. And then you get to walk around like low gravity, like you're in the moon. To walk on the moon, moon, moon. Okay, last section is Bible. How is Satan described in 1 Peter? A roaring lion, prowling about and seeking whom he may devour. Okay. Presentations went a little bit faster because we had a much smaller group this week. We only had 4 kiddos. And that was really sweet. Let's see, fine arts. This week, the kids were great, and they really enjoyed listening to the music. One of the things that we noted in reading about the song this week, which was about the sea, it was La Mer, dialogue du devant et la mer. So dialogue of the wind and the sea. And so last week's piece by Tchaikovsky was very emotional. It was from the Romantic era. This one was more of an Impressionist piece. And so the focus was so much more strongly on leaving an impression. So this was an impression of the wind and sea having this dialogue and a whole storm forming. And we all observed that sure enough, this one did not have the same emotional tug on us, but it did have really strong imagery that you could just imagine and hear while listening to the piece. So that was fun to experience. Hands-on science this week was pizza combinations. And so we discovered that with 3 different toppings, there could be 8 different combinations of pizza, including one that didn't have any of the toppings. It was just cheese. And so we were looking into
we got 15.
What is the likelihood that if you were handed just a random pizza from a pizza place that only had these toppings, what is the likelihood that you would get the combination that you would have ordered? And so we did hands-on with this, not with real pizza. That would have been fun. This was a printout, so the kids got to color in the toppings and cut them out and paste them onto these pizza slices and individually find all 8 combinations. And then we had a chart for tracking the data and putting that into fractions, figuring out what is the likelihood that you would get a 1-topping pizza, what's the likelihood that you would get a 2-topping pizza, what's the likelihood that you would get a 3, and then what the 3-topping pizza, and what is the likelihood that you would get the pizza that is your preference. So that was an interesting exercise. It seemed like they understood. I hope it hit home for them. And then for our review today, we reviewed some of the songs, some of our history songs, and then a few of the songs that pieced together prior learning, such as the periodic table and the geometry song. And we played Limbo, which was really fun. Some of the kids had not heard of Limbo before. So that was, I enjoyed that activity. Okay, well, had a great time with you guys. Those of you who were there, really missed each of you who weren't there. Really hoping and praying that everyone is healthy for next week. And love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.